Welcome to the Rene Lobo Report, bringing you issues of topical interest. Hello everyone, I'm Rene Lobo and I'm here in Midtown Manhattan and talking to the son of a Bollywood legend, the scriptwriter from the golden age of Bollywood films, and he is Mr. Zuhair Kashmeri, the son of Aghajani Kashmeri, and he's a narrator, producer, writer, journalist, and he has written and co-produced this documentary called The Golden Pen, which showcases the great journey of his father, Aghajani Kashmeri, from Lucknow to Bollywood, to Mumbai films, and then to Canada. So congratulations for this documentary, which is premiering in Manhattan this week, The Golden Pen. So tell us a little bit why call it The Golden Pen. I know your father wrote some amazing films, but tell us the name Golden Pen. How was it coined?
Thank you for having me on the show. And yes, he did. He wrote about 50 movies, starting in the late 1930s, actually the mid-1930s, because he first ran away from home to become a hero. And then he realized that he was only 5'9", and to be a hero in those days, you needed to be 6'4", and huge and hunky and everything else. So he turned to what he knew best, which was language, because he grew up in Lucknow, which was then the cultural capital of Canada. Now, why the Golden Pen? Well, when he left for Canada, after an illustrious career in Bollywood, the last interview he gave was to a journalist called Rafiq Baghdadi, whom we interview actually for our documentary. And Rafiq gave it the headline, The Golden Pen.
He wrote for Changli. It was very new, very fresh.
Aghajani Kashmeri is my guru. He taught me how to talk, walk, and act.
And we asked Rafiq, why did you give it the headline, The Golden Pen? He says, because every movie he wrote, even though it was a mainstream movie, he had the golden touch in it. There was something different. And I can give you some examples if you like. For instance, he wrote a movie called Mujhe Jeene Do with Sunil Dutt and Wahida Rehman. That movie showed the marriage of a Hindu and a Muslim. Every distributor said it was going to flop. My father argued that no, a movie well crafted, well written would never flop. He turned the hero into a bandit and a killer, and turned the heroine, Wahida Rehman, into a courtesan, almost like a prostitute, and a dancer. And the two of them fall in love and they get married. The audience loved it, and the movie ran for 50 weeks in a row.
Golden Pen, and he was a legend because he wrote movies like Mujhe Jeene Do, then it was Khilona, Love in Tokyo, Love in Simla.
He picked Joy Mukherjee, and in fact we interviewed Joy Mukherjee 6 or 7 months before he passed away, and he was picked and trained by my father. My father and Joy's father were sitting there discussing Love in Simla with R.K. Nair, the director, and they were saying, who should we get as a hero? Maybe we should get Shammi Kapoor. Joy walked in from St. Xavier's College, University. And my dad said, look, there's your hero. And his father said, Dad, idiot, will you take the responsibility to train him? He said, I'll train him. I picked Nargis and I trained her. I trained Sayara Banu. I'm sure I can train him. And he did, and launched Joy as a hero.
The first shot that I still remember, I was absolutely nervous and I could not speak properly. I mean, a very simple dialogue it was, to do. See, he trained me mostly in my dialogue delivery and also in my, my movements and how to be easy in life. And then I found acting to be very easy.
Love in Simla was a simple love tale set in the summer capital of the British Raj in the hills near Delhi. Joy arrives hoping to marry the daughter of a major general, and ends up falling for a cousin. The ugly duckling of the family at the start of the movie. The audience and the critics loved it because of the simplicity of the story, humor, pathos, and great songs.
My film, that small film, Love and Simla, became a hit. I never looked back, and we were friends. I would say more like friends right up to the day he expired. But I got an Artistic Achievement Award. I spoke in the front of the whole industry that Aghajani Kashmeri is my guru. He taught me how to talk, walk, and act. And I admired him. But now he's no more. I wish he was there to listen to what I said.
So when your dad was writing these scripts, he had certain heroes in his mind or heroines in his mind when he was writing them out?
He did. He would write and he would recommend to the director, look, you know, so and so. I think we should use so and so. We should use Wahida Rahman or Meena Kumari, or he would literally write his character around a subject, like in Jungli, which was one of his very famous movies with Shammi Kapoor, and he said this hero is Shammi Kapoor. Nobody else can do this. You know? So that's how he would write, and almost always he was successful.
आज वो देखने बैठे हैं मेरे दिल की किताब एक हिर फिर के मोहब्बत ही का नाम आता है
क्या खूब शेर है
Shammi Kapoor was one of Bollywood's top matinee idols. He was the star of Jungli, one of Aghajani's most celebrated films. He loved working with Aghajani.
इस तूफान से बिल्कुल मिलता जुलता
The most beautiful part of it was that he could interpret your thinking. He could join it up together. Like I was not happy with a couple of lines. And I'd honestly go up to him and say that, couldn't we do something better than this? He wouldn't say that this is the last line written by Shakespeare and you got to do it, baby. No. He says, give me time, I'll think it over. And after a couple of hours, he'd come back and he had improved on it. Jungli. It was very new, very fresh. He was a man who never smiled, he never laughed. Because he grew up in an atmosphere where his mother taught him that money was a basic factor of life. He was damn rich, but he didn't know what a smile was. He was not allowed to. Till he met this girl in Kashmir, and she brought a smile on his face. And he fell in love with her. I thought that was very, very innovative.
मेरे सीने में भी दिल है मेरे भी कुछ अरमान मुझे पत्थर तो न समझो मैं हूँ आखिर एक इंसान.
I know that you yourself are a journalist of great repute, and you've been writing for a lot of magazines, written for The Guardian, for LA Times. You're on Omni TV regularly in Canada. You're a radio commentator as well. So I guess it rubbed off on you, writing, you know. So the golden pen, you know, symbolically has been for you as well as your brother.
I don't know if I'll ever reach the heights that he reached, but I have gone around the block several times in journalism and writing. You know, the paper that I wrote for most extensively was the Globe and Mail, which is the New York Times of Canada. And yes, I did write articles for the Guardian, Los Angeles Times Syndicate, and you know, a bunch of other magazines, radio, TV. And I do have my commentary, but that's like the end of a journalism career, where a writer gets to go on TV and rant and rave about whatever he or she wants. I mean, I think every journalist dreams of doing that in the end, right, you know? So, yes.
Now, coming back to The Golden Pen, which has been written, co-written, produced, and narrated by you, what are some of those golden moments that you would like to talk to, you know, for our viewers?
Well, in terms of my father's life, there were several things that I discovered as I went along. One of them was, the respect that he commanded and the love that he commanded. I mean, I'll give you an example. To get footage for a documentary, you're usually paying anywhere from $50 to $80 a second. I mean, you're looking at thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. And this was a small budget documentary, you know. So I would sit down with people and they'd say, you're Aghajani Kashmeri's son and you're doing a documentary on his life? How much footage do you want? This is, you know, for the guy from who holds the rights to Jungli. And I said, well, you know, it's a 50-minute documentary. I mean, how much can I use? Maybe 3-4 minutes. He said, just give me the paper that I'll sign it. Take 10 minutes. So all of them, and John Mukherjee, who calls my father his guru, and says he taught me how to act, to walk, to speak. He just gave us, you know, unlimited. He said, just take as much as you want. You know, people actually gave us free footage. You know, and Nimmi talking about when she was 9 years old and she was sitting in Mehboob Khan's studio. They were shooting Humayun, and my father was there as usual, teaching the actors how to speak. And he kept looking at Nimmi, who was only 9, and Mehboob said, what are you looking at that child for? Focus on the work here. He said, no, no. He said, Mehboob, I'm telling you, she is going to be the heroine of your film. And you know what? Less than 10 years later, she was the heroine of his films, Raj Kapoor's films, and she shot to the top. Among those seeking to become a somebody was a young woman from Agra who only uses one name, Nimmi. She eventually became one of Bollywood's most sought-after actresses. She remembers Babba recounting his days of struggle.
इतना मुझे याद है कि वो बताते थे कि कमाल अमरोही साहब, वजाहत मिर्जा साहब और वो कहीं किसी मुंबई में खोली बोली कुछ होती है, वहाँ कहीं वो रहते थे और वो बेचारे कहते थे कि सिगरेट की आदत हो गई थी और जब सिगरेट के लिए पैसे नहीं होते थे और तलब होती थी तो बड़ी क्रूड एक लफ्ज है कि हम लोग सड़क पर से टुर्रे सिगरेट पी के जो फेंक देते हैं ना लोग, वो टुर्रे बीन कर हम लोग अपनी तलब को बुझाते थे.
Welcome to the Rene Lobo Report, bringing issues of topical interest. Now, those days, I mean, your dad was commanding pretty much everything, the script writing, as well as pretty much even evolving the scenes as he saw how the characters would work out with the heroes and the heroines over there. But tell us, did he also help in the direction? Was he, because nowadays everything is so, you know, categorized. I'm the director, I'm going to do that only. I'm going to call the shots. Or maybe not if the actor is, you know, pretty big. As a script writer, was his role overlapping other areas as well?
There were, because he took script writing to the extreme. He would actually not just write the dialogue, but he would describe the scene. He would even put in the angle and said, here, the camera should be here and focuses on Dilip Kumar here and Amar, and this is how the scene should evolve. And he would give hints that the director would actually use. And they would have a discussion and go on with it. So having said that, the only movie that he produced and directed, which was called Tofa, was a total flop. But he helped other directors make their movies.
That's interesting. Now, you grew up in this environment where there was so much of talent being, you know, put out, and there was so much of skill set that you saw of your father, you know, the golden pen, I would say, the man with the golden pen. How did it influence you? I know you're a hardcore journalist and your brother writes on foreign policy, but how did it influence you?
Well, initially it did. I became an assistant director for a while with R.K. Nair, the director of Love in Simla. And then I started moving away from that and made the mistake of becoming a journalist.
Well, don't tell me that.
I should have stuck to movies and script writing and other kinds of writing. But no, it's never too late. I'm doing that right now. So, but yeah, I mean that's how it influenced me. It brought me into writing. He taught me how to use my imagination, and he would do simple things like we would go out to Gaylord Restaurant in Bombay, which was a regular hangout for all the actors, actresses and all, and we'd sit there and he would look at a couple sitting in the other corner and say, he said, now tell me, what do you think they're talking? What is she telling him and what is he replying to her? You know, we would go through these exercises, and he taught me that any idea, any incident can be best narrated by telling it like a story. And that is probably one of the biggest things that I learned from him, and I use that in journalism. I know I did the first major interview with Yasser Arafat in the PLO called Inside the PLO for the Globe and Mail, and again I used the technique of telling a story, you know, and it always worked for me, even in journalism.
It does. You know, if you tell a story and tell it convincingly, the viewers, you got the viewers right there. Now, I know that the formula that your father used those days in the golden age, and it worked very well. Now there is no formula. Sometimes action movies may work, sometimes comedy may work, sometimes drama may work. There is no set formula. So much has changed in this millennium. And with the social media, I mean, everything has changed. At that time, to promote a film, it must have taken it must have been a very laborious, tedious work. Now you just go on Facebook or any other, you know, social media, and you are able to have an exponential viewership.
Exactly, exactly. Even though the bulk of India is not on the internet, you know that. You know, at any given time, there's not more than 17, 20 million people in India that are, for a population of 1.5 billion. Yes, but in those days it was much more difficult. You relied on the print media. You relied on radio. You relied on people like Amin Sayani, who had the Binaka Geet Mala, the hit parade. And if the song from your movie didn't make it on his hit parade, your movie was gone. It was history, you know. And now he's interviewed in the documentary also. He talks about my dad because he was a neighbor of ours too.
Aha, aapka jana pehchana sangeet goonja. I was expecting somebody with a long beard, a very stern old man, maybe smoking a pipe, with a very grim expression on his face. But I was totally astonished to find a person who was nice and plump and jolly and pleasant, full of life, full of humor, and with a twinkle in his eyes, and very, very free and easy in his conversation with me. I was much younger to him, but he treated me like an equal.
Over 40 years, he continuously honed his craft, writing about 50 movies, including several silver and golden jubilee hits, which ran non-stop for 25 or 50 weeks in one theater. There was a method to his madness. You watched my father at work. His writing scripts, writing dialogues, writing stories. It was a very competitive industry at the time.
Yes.
What made him stand out from the other writers?
I'll tell you. I'll tell you something which I noticed about Aghajani Kashmeri and there are other writers who wrote. See, they used to write by, they used to write by learning and by seeing dictionaries and write the dialogues as such in this film. Aghajani Kashmeri, he had a God-given instinct to understand what is a screenplay and to write the dialogues and how to bring enjoyment and entertainment in the scene itself.
So what do you think was the secret of his success? Was it his control of the Urdu language? Was it the fact that he grew up in Lucknow in the middle of that culture and language? And
I think all of it put together. One has to learn and know one's language of communication well enough, not just from the classical point of view, but from the colloquial point of view. And Agha Sahib knew both. He could speak beautiful, sophisticated dialogue, and he could even speak like an ordinary man on the street, which is very essential for a medium like films, which is absolutely down-to-earth, common denominator medium.
To become a hit, Bollywood movies often required love and amorous dialogue that resonated with the audience, and Babba knew how to deliver.
He had, incidentally, a very good eye for beauty. And of course, your mother was so elegant and nice and pleasant that she never really minded. She laughed it off because she said, well, anybody who's in the films will naturally be meeting all the beautiful stars and all that. But he certainly had that twinkle in his eye every time he saw a good-looking girl. and that's why probably he could write such fabulous romantic dialogue for the films.
And lastly, what are you doing? I think you're doing the biography of your father, Zuhair Honetak.
Yeah.
And anything after that? Because I know you live Niagara-on-the-Lake, which is a beautiful area.
Well, we have a bed and breakfast in Niagara-on-the-Lake. My wife is from Florence, Italy, so I help her with that, a Florentine bed and breakfast. But yeah, no, I mean, it's given me the peace of mind and the quiet to go launch a second draft of Zuhair Honetak into English. And after that, and I'm starting to write short stories. I'm actually writing poetry. Translating his autobiography and all the poets in Lucknow, and it's really inspired me. And the kind of dialogue I told you about and so on, revisiting his films, seeing his writing, all of this has really inspired me. My dad has actually inspired me to launch myself into really serious hatke writing.
Great. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Zuhair Kashmeri, writer, producer and narrator of the film The Golden Pen, which is about the legend who lives on in our lives, the legacy he leaves behind for the golden age of Bollywood cinema, the scriptwriter, the legendary scriptwriter Aghajani Kashmeri, whose journey from Lucknow to Mumbai and then back to Canada, very well written out in this film, The Golden Pen. I'm Rene Lobo. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Baba, as I call my father, came to Canada to be with his children and grandchildren. I came to Canada in my early 20s and was established in my new home. Unlike my father, who struggled. He tried to look forward, but the past pulled him back. He had left behind a world in which he was a celebrity, a renowned screenwriter of dozens of films, an intimate acquaintance of Bollywood's biggest stars. The world he longed for was the one he had left behind. His only solace was finding people here who loved the things he loved there.
Do you miss your wife?
Too much. Because she is the only person who gave me the real love. I was not a nice man, flirting with actresses because I was selecting actresses and all that, heroines and writing. But she loved me like anything.
What would help you to feel not so lonely?
I don't know. I don't know. Lonely is lonely.
Welcome to the Rene Lobo Report, bringing you issues of topical interest.